The border of the Galactic Empire was always quiet. Nothing ever moved faster than the Empire's patrol ships, and nothing ever dared to cross the boundary without permission. But tonight, the silence broke. A single alert light flashed on the main screen in the Imperial tracking station. The operator first thought it was dust or a sensor glitch. But when he zoomed in, his hands began to shake. A small dark object was moving at a speed no ship had ever reached. It crossed one star system in less than 3 seconds, then vanished from the scanners before the computers could even lock on. The operator called his superior, but even he could not believe what he saw. The object appeared again, this time closer, moving like a shadow jumping across space. It had no ID code, no heat signature, no engine trails. It moved like it was not even using engines at all. Inside the command room, officers gathered around the screen. They whispered among themselves. Some said it was a weapon. Some said it was a spy drone. Some said it was a mistake. But deep inside, everyone felt the same fear. Nothing in this galaxy had ever moved like that. One officer suggested sending a scout ship. Another officer said they should warn the Emperor. A third said they should shut down all sensors before the unknown object noticed them. But the object was already moving again. It reappeared in front of the moon, Varela 9, a dead, cold place with no life and no value. For some reason, the object slowed down there. This was the first time it had changed speed, and that alone made the room fall silent. The Emperor's face appeared on the hollow screen. He spoke with a calm tone, but his eyes showed fear. The officers explained what they had seen. They showed the recordings, the speed calculations, and the energy readings. The Emperor said only one thing: follow it. But do not provoke it. A scout fleet was launched. The pilots moved carefully, watching every detail on their screens. But one by one, the scout ships went dark. No explosion. No warning. No signal. They simply disappeared as if swallowed by empty space. The Empire had lost whole fleets in war before, but never like this. This was different. This was unknown. Back in the command station, panic grew. Officers searched old records to find anything similar. One young officer opened a forgotten archive called Human Era Incidents. It was a restricted file, meant to stay hidden. Inside it, there were reports about humans and their old experiments before the Empire took control of Earth. One report talked about a prototype ship that could move without engines, using bent space. It had no heat, no ID, no sound. The project was called Ascension, and it was abandoned when the Empire rose to power. The officer read the description again and again. His breath grew heavy. The unknown vessel matched the description almost perfectly. He did not want to say it. No one wanted to say it. But someone finally whispered, "Is it human?" The room froze. Humans had been enslaved, scattered, and erased from history. The Empire controlled everything. No human was supposed to have technology like this. No human was supposed to have freedom. The Emperor ordered everyone in the room to stay silent. "No one speaks of this," he said. "Not until we know the truth." But secrets never stay hidden for long. A rebel human group, living in the shadows across the galaxy, heard whispers of the unknown vessel. They had been hiding for generations, waiting for hope. And now, that hope finally came in the form of a fast, silent ship. While the Empire watched the vessel from a safe distance, something unexpected happened. A small part of the vessel's surface opened for only 2 seconds. It looked like a hatch. It glowed faintly, then closed again. The scientists believed it was a warning. The military believed it was bait. The Emperor believed it was a message. The vessel gave no sound, no movement after that. It just floated near the moon, as if waiting for something or someone. The Empire sent drones to scan it, but every drone showed nothing. The surface of the vessel looked alive, like a black mirror that swallowed all light. Some officers suggested the ship was made by an alien race not yet known. But others remembered the old stories about humans, their talent for building strange machines, and their ability to grow stronger under pressure. The Emperor did not want to believe it, but the fear in his eyes told the truth. If humans had returned, the Empire was not ready. As the hours passed, the unknown vessel remained silent. But the fear around it kept growing. It was not its size, because it was small. It was not its weapons, because none were visible. It was not its shape, because it was simple and smooth. The fear came from its speed, its mystery, its silence. No empire, no alien race, no technology had ever matched something like this. And deep inside every officer watching it, one question stayed alive. If this was only one ship, then how strong had the humans become? The night ended, but no one slept. The unknown vessel had appeared. And the Empire understood something important. The galaxy was about to change. The unknown vessel stayed near the dead moon for hours, and the Empire did not understand why. It did not move. It did not send any signal. It did not react to the lost scout ships. It simply floated in silence, like a dark shadow waiting for the right moment. The Emperor ordered more ships to surround the moon, but at a safe distance. No one wanted to get too close. The fear of disappearing without a trace was stronger than any duty. On the moon's surface, dust never moved. The place had been dead for thousands of years. There was no air, no water, no hidden base. Yet the vessel chose this cold world as a stopping point. Inside the Empire's science station, researchers argued with each other. Some said the ship must be scanning the moon. Others believed it was hiding something under the surface. A few whispered that it was waiting for a signal from somewhere else in the galaxy. But no one had proof. All they had was fear and guesses. A small drone team was prepared to land on the moon. The drones were older models but more stable near strange energy fields. The team launched 5 drones, sending them slowly toward the dark vessel. The flight was calm at first. The drones moved in a straight line, reporting clear data. But when they reached 10 kilometers from the unknown vessel, their cameras started to flicker. When they reached 5 kilometers, their engines made strange sounds. And when they reached 3 kilometers, every drone turned off at the same exact second. They fell to the moon like stones. The Empire commanders stared at the screen. There was no explosion, no weapon discharge, no detected field. It was as if the vessel simply decided the drones should not exist anymore. Even the Emperor looked worried now. He asked the scientists to analyze the final frames of drone footage. The last image showed the vessel's surface moving slightly, like ripples on water. It was not metal. It was not stone. It was something alive. Rumors spread across the Empire fleet. Some soldiers said the vessel came from another dimension. Some said it was a ghost ship. Some even said it carried a new empire inside it. But the oldest soldiers remembered something else. They remembered human stories. Humans had once built machines that reacted like living beings. Machines that learned. Machines that changed shape. Machines that chose their own path. This memory made many officers silent. Deep inside a forgotten sector of the galaxy, a hidden human group listened to intercepted Imperial messages. They called themselves the Freeborn. They had lived in secret for generations, always moving to avoid capture. When they heard about the unknown vessel, they did not feel fear. They felt hope. One of the older members, a woman named Leora, looked at the report with trembling hands. She had grown up hearing stories about the old human project called Ascension. Many believed it was only a dream, a myth. But the description of the vessel matched too closely. Leora sent a message to her people. Prepare for movement. If the stories are true, we are no longer alone. While the Freeborn prepared, the Empire increased its security. Every ship in the nearby sectors went into alert mode. Massive cruisers formed a half-circle wall around the moon, keeping distance but watching closely. No one dared to fire or move closer. The Emperor wanted answers, not war. Yet, every hour without a reaction from the vessel made the tension worse. Then something unexpected happened. A small light appeared on the vessel's surface. It was faint, like a dying star, but it grew brighter slowly. It did not seem like a weapon, but no one knew for sure. Imperial soldiers gripped their seats. Pilots held their breath. The Emperor leaned forward, watching every pixel. The light spread across the vessel like veins waking up. The surface shifted again, this time more clearly. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Then, a single beam of soft blue light pointed toward the moon's surface. It touched a flat rock and carved a symbol into it, smooth, perfect, almost artistic. The symbol looked like a circle divided by a single line. The Empire did not recognize it. But the Freeborn did. It was an ancient Earth symbol for return. On the Imperial flagship, confusion spread. Officers argued about the meaning. Some believed it was a warning. Some said it was a message asking for peace. Others said it was simply a test. The Emperor remained quiet, studying the symbol again and again. He had studied old human culture in his youth. He remembered similar marks. He felt a cold shiver run down his spine. This was not an alien ship. This was something else. Something old. Something familiar. Something dangerous. As the officers continued their debate, the vessel made its first movement in hours. It rotated slowly, almost lazily, turning its front toward the Empire fleet. Even this simple movement made the fleet pull back. No one wanted to disappear like the scout ships. The vessel stopped facing them, and for a moment, nothing happened. Then a soft hum filled every Imperial ship. Not through their speakers, through the air itself. The vibration entered the ships like a whisper that felt almost like a voice. Soldiers looked around, confused. Engines flickered. Lights dimmed. And then, a message appeared on every screen at the same exact second. Stand down. No signature. No source. No sound. Only 2 words. And the Empire understood one thing very clearly. Whatever was inside that vessel did not fear them. The Empire command room was silent after the message. Officers stared at the screens, unable to speak. Stand down, it had said. No sound, no ship ID, no explanation. Only 2 words that carried a weight heavier than any fleet. The young officers exchanged nervous glances. One whispered, "It knows us, and it is not afraid." The older officers remained frozen. They had faced alien invasions, rebels, and rogue planets, but never had a single vessel caused this much fear without firing a shot. The Emperor leaned back in his chair. His calm mask hid growing panic. He had spent centuries believing the galaxy was under his control, and yet, here was something moving faster than his fastest fleets, disappearing without trace, and speaking to him as if he were insignificant. He turned to his closest advisors. "Find its origin," he said quietly. "Every record, every archive. I want answers." The officers immediately dug into the Imperial archives. Dusty records, old data tapes, and forgotten star charts were examined. One officer, a historian named Kale, hesitated before opening a sealed file labeled Project Ascension, Human Prototype. It was a file hidden for generations, a record of humans who had survived the Empire's early conquests. Kale's hands shook as he opened it. The pages described humans who had been sent into exile, given one final chance to escape the Empire's grasp. They had built a ship unlike any other, a ship that could bend space, move faster than light, and appear where it wanted. The description was chillingly accurate. "The vessel, it matches," Kale said softly, his voice trembling. The others froze. "You're saying humans made it?" A younger officer laughed nervously. "Humans? They are extinct. That is impossible." But Kale shook his head. "Not extinct. Hidden. Waiting. If this ship is what it seems, humanity has returned." The Emperor's face tightened. His empire had destroyed civilizations, yet he had underestimated this species completely. Meanwhile, Deep in a hidden sector far from the Empire, the freeborn, humans who had survived exile, watched the news with wide eyes. Leora, their leader, stared at the intercepted transmissions. "It is happening," she said. "The signal. The vessel. They see us again." Generations of humans had lived in secret, building, learning, and preparing. They had evolved quietly while the Empire grew arrogant. And now, the moment they had waited for had arrived. Leora sent orders to their scattered bases. Ships needed to prepare. Weapons, sensors, even communication systems were activated. This was not a war yet, but it could become one. Back at the moon, the unknown vessel remained silent, though its presence was terrifying. The Empire sent more scouts, hoping to get a clear image, but every ship that approached failed. No weapon could touch it, no scanner could read it. Every time the Empire tried to understand, the vessel seemed to know, reacting faster than any human or machine should be able to. Officers began calling it alive, though no one dared say it aloud. Kale returned to the Emperor with a suggestion. "We need a team on the moon. We must try to communicate directly. This may be the only way to understand what humans want." The Emperor hesitated. Sending humans, his own soldiers, so close to the unknown vessel could end in disaster. But knowledge was dangerous, and fear alone could not be allowed to control his empire. "Prepare a diplomatic team," he ordered. "No weapons. Only observation. We need answers before panic spreads." The team assembled quickly. Scientists, diplomats, and engineers joined the mission, each assigned to observe, not attack. Their ships moved slowly toward the moon, scanning carefully for any sign of life. As they approached, the vessel shifted slightly, its dark surface catching faint light from nearby stars. The surface pulsed again, and the Empire ship sensors flickered. Something about it made the human crews uneasy. Even the most experienced officers felt their stomachs tighten. Then, as the fleet drew closer, a small hatch opened on the vessel for 2 seconds, flashing blue light inside. Every Empire officer held their breath. The light did not shoot, it did not aim, it simply glowed. The hatch closed before anyone could react. The fleet's sensors could read nothing. The vessel, it seemed, was testing them. Kale spoke softly to the Emperor. "They are intelligent. They are observing us. And I think they know we fear them." The Emperor did not answer. He had felt that same fear in his childhood when studying old human legends. Stories had told of humans who could survive the impossible, who could outthink the strongest empires. He had never believed them. Now he was learning the truth. Back in the Freeborn's hidden sector, Leora smiled grimly. "They are afraid," she said to her team. "The Empire does not know what it faces. And that is our advantage." Ships began moving toward secret jump points near the moon. Humans would not attack first. They would wait and watch. But they were ready to strike if the Empire threatened them. Their technology had grown silently, but it was stronger than anything the Empire had ever known. The diplomatic team approached the moon with caution. Every step, every light, every sensor pulse was monitored. The unknown vessel stayed near the surface, perfectly still. The team could not read it, could not touch it, could not communicate, yet they knew it was aware of their presence. For the first time in centuries, the Empire realized something terrifying. Humans had not only survived, they had evolved. And the vessel near Varela 9 was proof that the galaxy would never be the same again. That night, the Empire slept uneasy. No one left the command room. Every officer watched the vessel, waiting, fearing, imagining what might come next. Somewhere, hidden among the stars, humanity prepared. And the first whisper of their return had already begun to change the galaxy. The Empire fleet hovered near the dead moon, every ship tense and alert. The unknown vessel had not moved in hours, yet the fear it created in the officers was growing. Every light, every sensor flicker made hearts beat faster. The Emperor watched from his command room, staring at the blinking console. "Prepare a communication ship," he said quietly. "We must try to speak to it." carefully. The ship chosen was small but fast, designed for observation rather than battle. Its crew consisted of diplomats, scientists, and engineers, each trained to stay calm under pressure. Weapons were left off. Every officer on the bridge knew that a single wrong move could mean the end. As they approached the vessel, the hum of their engines seemed louder than usual. The vessel did not move. Its black surface reflected the faint starlight, smooth and alive, like it was waiting. Then the unexpected happened. The vessel emitted a soft pulse of blue light that spread slowly across its surface. The Empire crew froze. Their sensors went haywire. Lights flickered. Engines sputtered. The vessel's pulse did not harm them, but it made them aware of something they could not understand. It was watching them, learning. Every officer felt it in their bones. This was not just a machine. This was intelligence. A soft vibration traveled through the observation ship. Then a message appeared on their communication screens. It was clear, simple, and yet powerful. Stand down. There was no signature, no name, no code. Just 2 words. The Emperor's envoy stared at the message in disbelief. It knows who we are, one whispered. And it is not afraid of us. The ship's captain nodded slowly. It is human-made, he said. I am certain. Only humans could make something like this. The Emperor's advisors argued. Some wanted to fire. Some wanted to retreat. Some said to wait and observe. The Emperor held up his hand. No one fires. Not yet. We must know what it wants. If this is humanity, we cannot underestimate them. The room fell silent. The fear was real. The unknown vessel had shown its power without a single weapon. Now the Empire had to find a way to communicate. The observation ship moved slightly closer, carefully, at a slow pace. The vessel's surface rippled, like water disturbed by wind. The Empire crew watched in awe. No scanner could read it. No instrument could measure it. The vessel seemed alive, aware, calculating. Then, suddenly, a hatch opened for 2 seconds, glowing faintly with blue light. The light did not aim, did not shoot. It simply appeared, silent and calm. The crew held their breath. The vessel was waiting. It was testing them. Kale, the historian, studied the readings. It is intelligent, he said softly. And it knows we fear it. This is exactly how humans survived before. They never attacked first, but they always knew when to act. The Emperor's face darkened. He had spent centuries controlling the galaxy, yet now he felt powerless. The unknown vessel was a reminder that humans, once thought extinct, had returned stronger than ever. Meanwhile, far from the Empire, the Freeborn watched. Leora's eyes shone with determination. They are afraid, she said to her team. The Empire does not understand what faces them. That is our advantage. The human fleet had been scattered for generations, but their ships were faster, smarter, and more advanced than the Empire could imagine. They had been preparing for this moment. Now, the unknown vessel was the first sign of their return. Back at the moon, the observation ship's captain tried to send a message. His hands shook as he typed. We come in peace. Identify yourself. We mean no harm. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, across the Empire fleet, every communication screen lit up with a single message. Humanity is not your enemy, unless you make us one. The words spread fear and awe. No officer had ever heard humans speak like this before. Calm, strong, and confident. Words that carried the weight of generations. The Emperor felt a chill. He realized the truth he had been avoiding. Humanity had not only survived exile, but they had grown stronger than the Empire had ever imagined. The unknown vessel, moving silently near the moon, was proof. It could destroy ships, disable sensors, or vanish at any moment, yet it had chosen not to. It had chosen to communicate first. The observation ship pulled back slightly, giving the vessel space. The crew watched in silence, reading every ripple, every glow, every change in its surface. They could not touch it, could not scan it, could not communicate beyond the simple words it had sent. Yet they felt its intelligence, its awareness. This was a species that had learned patience, strategy, and power. Something the Empire had forgotten over centuries of conquest. Leora and the freeborn fleet made their final preparations. The unknown vessel's message had confirmed everything. Humans were back, and they had the upper hand. They did not want war, but they would not be afraid. The Empire, with its massive fleets and endless confidence, was unprepared for what had returned. One thing was clear: the galaxy had shifted. From this moment on, humans were no longer the forgotten species. They were a force to be reckoned with, and the Empire would have to decide whether to fight or survive. The night ended with a quiet tension. The unknown vessel stayed near the moon, silent yet powerful. The Empire watched, afraid to move. The humans prepared, ready to strike if necessary. And somewhere, in the dark corners of the galaxy, a long-lost species was awakening. The first contact had been made, and the universe would never be the same again. The moon's silent surface suddenly became the center of the galaxy's attention. From the shadows of distant space, sleek, dark ships began to appear. They moved fast, faster than any Empire vessel, and with precision that made the Imperial fleet uneasy. These were not the scout ships or prototypes. These were full human vessels, each shaped for speed, stealth, and intelligence. The unknown vessel near the moon pulsed once, then slowly drifted to meet the new arrivals. The Empire officers watched in shock. Their sensors could barely track the ships. Each human craft moved with a fluid grace, like they were dancing between the stars. No engines roared. No weapons flashed. Yet every movement screamed power. "They are humans," one officer whispered, unable to hide the fear in his voice. Kale, the historian, nodded slowly. "Yes. And they are far stronger than anything we imagined." The Emperor remained silent. His centuries of control felt meaningless against this sudden and unexpected return. The first human ship landed near the moon's surface. From it, soldiers stepped out, enhanced by generations of survival. Their armor was light, black, and flexible. Their helmets reflected the faint starlight. They carried no weapons yet looked ready for war. Every movement was calm, deliberate, and confident. The Empire had never seen humans like this. These were not the humans who had once been enslaved. These were humans evolved, trained, and prepared to reclaim their place in the galaxy. A small team from the Empire approached with diplomatic intent. They had no weapons, only flags and screens for communication. The humans waited. Their leader, a tall figure in dark armor, stepped forward. He removed his helmet. His eyes were calm, but they burned with certainty. "We want our lost people back," he said. His voice was steady, clear, and commanding. "We do not wish to fight. But we will defend ourselves if necessary." The Empire officers froze. For centuries, they had expected humans to be weak. They had expected fear, surrender, or hiding. Yet here was a species that had returned stronger than the Empire itself. Kale whispered, "They have learned everything we never understood. Strategy, patience, power." Even the Emperor felt the weight of the words. Humanity had returned, and their presence alone challenged the balance of the galaxy. The humans did not attack. They did not demand territory. They only wanted what was theirs. But their presence sent a message that no words could. Every Empire soldier felt it. Their weapons felt weak. Their ships seemed slow. Their confidence, built over centuries, began to falter. This was not a negotiation. This was a demonstration of superiority without violence. The unknown vessel pulsed again, its surface shimmering as if acknowledging the arrival of its kin. It had waited for this moment. It was the first of its kind, a scout, a messenger, a guardian. And now, with the human fleet present, it became clear that the Empire's calculations had been wrong. Humans had not only survived, they had evolved in ways the Empire could not predict. The Emperor issued cautious orders. Do not provoke them. Observe. Learn. Report everything. But even as the orders were given, officers began whispering among themselves. What if these humans decided to strike first? What if their patience was only temporary? Fear spread like fire through the fleet. Every commander knew that miscalculation could mean complete destruction. The humans did not make a move for hours. They walked near the moon's surface, speaking in quiet voices to each other. Their technology allowed them to communicate silently across vast distances. Sensors detected nothing unusual, but the Empire sensed power, control, and intelligence. The unknown vessel stayed near them, acting like a silent guardian. Its presence reassured the humans, and it reminded the Empire of their vulnerability. Leora, the freeborn leader, communicated with her team. Hold position. Wait for their next move, but be ready. We do not start the fight. They do not understand what they face yet. Let them see, let them feel, and then they will know. Every human ship, every soldier, every device was perfectly aligned with this strategy. They did not rush. They did not panic. They were patient, disciplined, and calm. The Empire realized something terrifying. Humanity had returned, not to hide, not to beg, not to negotiate. They had returned to reclaim their place in the galaxy. Their ships, their soldiers, their unknown vessel, all demonstrated a level of technology, skill, and intelligence the Empire had never faced. And worse, humanity had learned from its past, becoming smarter, faster, and stronger. The night ended with the Empire watching, uneasy and afraid. The humans waited silently on the moon, their presence like a shadow over the fleet. The unknown vessel hovered near them, silent and alive, a warning and a promise. The Emperor knew, deep inside, that the galaxy had changed. From this moment, humans were no longer the forgotten species. They were the force that could challenge empires. And the first real battle of fear, patience, and power had already begun without a single shot being fired. The first human soldiers walked the moon's surface, ready, calm, and confident. The Empire realized that control was an illusion, and the humans, once lost and thought extinct, had returned to remind the galaxy that they were never weak. The Empire fleet had never felt such fear. Their ships surrounded the moon, but no one dared move too close. Every sensor flicker, every ripple of energy from the unknown vessel, made officers tighten their grip on controls. The humans on the surface did nothing aggressive, yet the Empire could feel the power in their presence. It was as if the very air had changed, heavy with calm confidence and silent warning. The Emperor paced in his chamber, listening to reports from the fleet. They are humans, Kale repeated, but not like the humans you knew. They are stronger, faster, smarter. They have learned what it means to survive, and to win. The Emperor stared at the screen, seeing the human ships move in precise formation. Every action was calculated. Every pause had meaning. He felt the first real tremor of fear in decades. Then the humans demonstrated something the Empire had never seen. One of their ships lifted off silently, then vanished completely from all sensors. Moments later, it appeared behind a group of Empire cruisers, harmless yet impossible to track. The Empire officers gasped. Their weapons could not lock on. Their scanners could not detect it. It was as if the human ship bent space, stepping in and out of the universe at will. On the surface, the humans walked calmly. Their soldiers glanced at the horizon, monitoring the Empire fleet. Their leader raised a hand, and one of the smaller human ships rose slowly. Without firing a shot, it projected a faint field that caused the Empire's weapons to fail. Engines sputtered. Shields faltered. Even communication signals stuttered. The humans had not attacked. They had only demonstrated a small fraction of their power, and it was enough to terrify the Empire. "Hold your fire," the Emperor shouted. "Do not provoke them." But even as he gave orders, he realized the Empire was already outmatched. Every general in the room knew it. Their fleets, their strategies, their entire confidence, none of it mattered. They had underestimated humans, and now they were paying the price. Kale stepped forward. "This is only a demonstration," he said softly. "They are showing us what they can do without violence. Imagine if they wanted to fight." The room fell silent. The thought was unbearable. The Empire had controlled galaxies for centuries, yet now they faced beings who could disable ships, vanish, and outthink every plan the Empire had ever made, all without a single shot. Leora watched from the hidden sector. Her fleet was prepared, but she held back. The humans had returned, not for war, but to reclaim what was theirs. Every step was calculated, every move deliberate. The Empire did not know it yet, but humans had evolved patience as a weapon. They had learned that fear could be more powerful than guns. The unknown vessel pulsed again, and its surface shimmered like liquid metal. The Empire fleet noticed a faint outline, almost like a heartbeat. They realized it was not just a machine. It was alive, intelligent, and fully aware. Every officer felt the weight of its presence. The unknown vessel was not alone. It had the humans behind it, connected silently, ready to act. The Emperor ordered a council of his generals. "We cannot attack," he said. "We cannot ignore them. We need a plan, but what plan works against something we cannot see or understand?" The generals whispered among themselves. Some suggested retreat. Others suggested diplomacy. But even as they argued, they all understood the terrifying truth. Humans had returned, and they were stronger than the Empire had ever imagined. Then, one of the humans made the first direct display of power. A small star, millions of kilometers away, blinked and vanished. The Empire sensors confirmed it. The humans had done it. They had moved an entire celestial object without weapons, without destruction, without explanation. The Emperor's face turned pale. "They do not need to fight," he whispered. "They only need to show their power, and we crumble." The humans on the moon's surface waited patiently. They did not celebrate, they did not rush. Every move was controlled, precise, and calm. The unknown vessel hovered nearby, silent and alive, like a guardian and a warning at the same time. The Empire fleet, once proud, now felt fragile. Their largest cruisers, fastest fighters, and deadliest weapons were useless against beings who could bend space and disable systems at will. Kale addressed the Emperor. "They are offering peace," he said. "If we cooperate, we survive. If we fight, we lose everything." The Emperor swallowed hard. He knew the truth. The humans had returned not as victims, not as weak survivors, but as a superior force. And the Empire could not ignore them. Night fell over the moon, but the tension remained. The Empire watched. The humans waited. The unknown vessel hovered. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy's most powerful empire felt fear. True, deep, and unavoidable. They had faced rebels, alien invasions, and civil wars before. But this was different. Humanity had returned. And with them came the proof that the Empire could no longer rule unchallenged. The first test was over, and the Empire realized the undeniable fact. Humans were not only back, they were more powerful, more intelligent, and more patient than any species in the galaxy. The question now was simple. Would the Empire survive their return, or would they crumble before the power of humanity? The humans on the moon's surface waited calmly. Their ships hovered silently above, sleek and alive. The unknown vessel remained near them, a shadowy guardian that pulsed like a heartbeat. The Empire fleet, once proud and confident, now felt exposed, weak, and uncertain. Every officer knew that one wrong move could spark a disaster beyond imagination. Leora, the freeborn leader, stepped forward among the human soldiers. "We are here for our people," she said clearly. "We do not seek war. We only ask the Empire to release those who were hidden, enslaved, or forgotten. Humanity has returned, and we claim what was taken from us." Her voice carried across the moon and through communications, calm but commanding. There was no fear, only certainty. The Emperor listened, tension etched on his face. He understood the gravity of the situation. For centuries, he had ruled with absolute power. Yet now, a species he had thought destroyed stood before him, stronger than anything he had ever faced. He realized that negotiation, not conquest, was the only path to survival. "We will consider your request," he said slowly, knowing that any hesitation could spark chaos among his fleet. The humans did not celebrate. They only waited, disciplined and patient. One of their ships lifted slightly, hovering above the moon. Then, without warning, a pulse of energy flowed from it. The Empire fleet felt the effects immediately. Engines shuddered. Weapons went offline. Shields flickered. The humans did not attack. They only demonstrated that their power was beyond the Empire's understanding. It was a warning, a message: challenge us, and you will fail. The unknown vessel pulsed again, its black surface reflecting the starlight. Officers whispered that it was alive, that it thought, that it understood the fear it created. For the first time, the Empire realized that intelligence and patience could be as deadly as fleets and weapons. Humans had mastered both. In the hidden sectors, the freeborn fleet moved closer, maintaining distance but ready to strike if provoked. Leora's plan was clear: show strength, demand justice, but avoid unnecessary bloodshed. The humans wanted freedom and recognition, not war. Yet they were prepared to defend themselves against any attempt at betrayal. The Emperor convened his generals. "We cannot fight them," he said plainly. "Our fleets are outmatched. Our strategies fail against their technology. Their patience and intelligence are weapons we cannot counter. We must negotiate, or we risk losing everything." The generals nodded reluctantly. Fear had replaced arrogance in their hearts. They knew that the humans were no longer weak, no longer forgotten. Humanity had returned, and the galaxy could never be the same. The humans sent a final message: release our people. Restore our place in the galaxy. We do not wish to destroy, but we will defend ourselves. The choice is yours. Silence followed. The Empire fleet waited, unsure of what action to take. The humans remained calm, a living reminder of patience and power. Slowly, the Empire began to comply. Communications were sent to release the surviving humans scattered across the galaxy. The enslaved and forgotten were freed, and the Empire realized that fear and respect could no longer coexist with arrogance. The humans did not celebrate the Empire's surrender. They only prepared to return home, reclaiming what was theirs with dignity and strength. The unknown vessel, once a silent shadow, lifted from the moon and joined the human fleet. It moved with a grace that no Empire ship could match, its presence a symbol of intelligence, patience, and power. Every officer watching knew that it was more than a ship. It was a living guardian, a protector of humanity, and a warning to any who might try to challenge them. Leora looked at the stars, thinking of Earth and the long history of her people. "We were never weak," she said quietly to her team. "The galaxy just forgot." Her words carried across space, reaching the ears of every human who had waited in exile for centuries. Humanity had returned, stronger and smarter, and no empire could deny their place. The Empire retreated slowly, their fleets humbled. They had witnessed the return of humans not as a threat to be crushed, but as a species reborn. The galaxy had shifted, and no strategy or weapon could restore the arrogance of the past. Humanity had proven itself, not through violence, but through intelligence, patience, and the quiet power to command respect. As the humans prepared to depart, they left a clear message behind: the galaxy had underestimated them once, but never again. Their ships lifted from the moon, moving with speed and grace, accompanied by the unknown vessel, a symbol of a species that had survived, evolved, and returned stronger than any force in the universe. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy saw humans not as weak or forgotten, but as a force to be respected. The Empire had faced them, and it had learned fear. Humanity reclaimed its place, not through conquest alone, but through courage, patience, and superior intellect. The stars now belonged to those who had survived and grown beyond expectation. And as the human fleet disappeared into the depths of space, the galaxy held its breath. The legend of humanity had returned. The unknown vessel, sleek and alive, followed silently, ensuring that the species that had once been nearly destroyed would never be forgotten again. Humanity had returned, and the galaxy would never forget that humans were never weak.